when I think I might have been the last cowgirl to learn it from her before her stroke. And so we were in the studio. I think I was. I'm sure I was. And that was probably 21 years after that film that you saw her dancing. She had so much energy. Those little feet were tapping, and she was showing me all the bucking and everything. And then, of course, the stroke happened, and I watched her teach the part to others. I would be in the room helping her with the cowgirl, and it occurred to me that articulation that we've been talking about, and you could hear it when she was moderating, she could no longer show it, but she could speak of it and get it across. And thank God she had that gift, because the frustration that she had after the stroke, Jemsy, I could just see her so frustrated that she couldn't get up and move, and yet she found the words and the passion in it to get it across. And I was watching her dance, and I thought, I remember seeing her dance like that, and that was right before the stroke. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention that, because it's pretty stunning to have been a part of the dancing part and then watch her get it across yet again with her words. And she had them. She really had those words.
You know, she just going back to Rodeo, she had approached Aaron Copeland about, writing music for the ballet, and she was at Jacob's Pillow rehearsing something, and he was at Tanglewood, and she kept, is it done, is it done, is it done, fine. And finally he said, yes, Agnes, it's done, and she says, well, can I hear it? I'd like to hear it. Okay, I'll come over and play it for you. So he came over to where she was rehearsing, and he'd brought a student with him, and the first time Agnes De Mille ever heard it all the way through was played on two pianos with Leonard Bernstein and Aaron Copeland. That's something, yeah. I think if do we have a little more time? Just to mention one thing, as you all know, she was one of those extraordinary people that she was not only a wonderful speaker, but she wrote. I mean, some people say that she wrote, she wrote as well or as good or better than she even choreographed. She was a wonderful writer, and very articulate in word, in the studio, but in writing to a larger audience, and in really describing her feeling about dance, and just on dance in general. And in that sense, she was just extraordinary, because most dancers are not, we jump around, but to write a book and be really articulate, that's something else.
I worked with her later than that, when she formed the Heritage Dance Theater.
Just hold the mic up so they can hear. Yeah.
They formed the Heritage Dance Theater. Can you hear it?
Is it on?
Hello?
It's off.
Okay. There are two things. Agnes De Mille choreography, it seems simple, but as Paul said, you had to really be a very good dancer to do it, and to get the point across in acting. She could have you watch nothing while somebody else was doing 64 double pirouettes on the other side. She would get you to watch that seemingly nothing thing. She could stage anything so beautifully that she directed your attention. The other thing is that she was a quiet social activist. In the Four Marys, the three that survived were the three black women slaves. And in another ballet, it was a piece from Hell on Wheels. She used the composer Louis Moreau Gottschalk. We did a television morning show one time, and she took myself and Mel Tomlinson, and much to the surprise of the moderators, she introduced them to Gottschalk, and they thought this was a wonderful classical composer, and she said he was an American Negro composer, and they were shocked. The other thing was, in that ballet, Mel Tomlinson and I did a sand dance, and then we did a cakewalk. And it was about this road show that traveled on rail, and some of the performers were pretty bad and pretty hammy. In this particular one, the two performers that were the best were the black performers. We were Negroes then, I think, or colored, I don't remember. But in the Times, at that time, they could not get the credit for that. If they had taken the bows as the star performers, the whole troupe would have been run out of town and they might have been killed. So when we opened at the Erie Crown Theater in Chicago, she asked Mel and I to take bows as we would have in those times, which were bugging the eyes and grinning, shaking your head and your hand. And so at the end, we were taking our bows, and it was wonderful applause. And when Mel and I did that, the audience went, you know, and she said, that's what the American heritage was at that time. And don't forget, it's wonderful to be entertained, but know what it was. It was our history. You know, that's all.
Final. All's well that is well. I think you've been actually very fortunate because these people are kind of, you know, there ain't a lot more. You know, all of us, me included, who am I kidding? But it was a wonderful era because, you know, we were lucky. They didn't give you a video. You worked with De Mille or Tudor or Robbins or Balanchine or, you know, Macmillan. I mean, we were lucky because we worked with these choreographers and their very close assistants. But, and those days are gone, you know, the likes of De Mille and Tudor and Balanchine and Robbins, Macmillan, Ashton. I think it remains to be seen who's yet going to fill their shoes. There's a lot on the horizon, but, you know, those were great days, and we were all very fortunate to be in that era and really see these people, you know, eye to eye, so to speak. Yeah.